Hi, and welcome to the Daily Record's latest in conversation. My name is Scott Burns, and this week I'm delighted to say I'm joined by the Dundee defender and man of the moment, Luke Graham. Luke, thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm very good, thanks. All good.
Good. This is meant to be the end of the season where players get their breaks in between the season, but you're still a busy man this week, I believe, with a bit of a call-up.
Yeah, well, a half call up, I'd like to say, but no, I got a phone call from Steven Pressley a few days ago just to say I'll be joining up with the men's team for the training week leading into the World Cup. So absolutely buzzing with it.
What was your feelings when you took that call?
I was a bit shocked, to be fair. I was planning on going on holiday with my missus that week, so I've had to reschedule that about a bit to make it. So, but no, the main feeling was just like proudness, to be fair. I mean, it's something that I've been working towards my whole career. So to kind of get that half call up kind of thing is amazing.
So before you obviously join up with Steve Clark's team later this week, we have to make up to the girlfriend? Are you in the doghouse?
No, she's away. I've managed to make it up to her. She's going away with her pal now, so she's fine. Aye, she's all good.
That's, I mean, but obviously, look, we've spoke to you a few times. Earlier this season, in one of the interviews, you said, one of your aims was to try and break into that Scotland international squad. I mean, maybe getting this exposure takes you probably, if you can do well, a step closer to that.
Yeah, no, that's it. I've just kind of got to go in and just try the best I can really, and just try and impress, and hopefully, like a full call, it won't be too far away.
Because, I mean, you've had plenty of experience at under 21 level now, and you've got a few caps at that level as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I think I've got 8 or 9 caps now. So no, that's obviously been really good as well. Just that kind of exposure into the 21s football too.
Because there has been quite a few of the Scotland under 21 players who have made the step up to the full squad, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there's been a few. It's just kind of replicating what they've done, really. Just going to that 21s level, impress, like play a lot of football at club level, and then just kind of see where it takes you, really. So that's kind of been my aim so far.
How exciting will it be just to join up with that full squad?
Yeah,
Just
no,
being in it.
it'll be amazing. A lot of them people are national heroes kind of thing. So just to be in and around it for a few days is going to be amazing in itself. Yeah.
Have you spoke to Steve Clark previously?
No, I've never spoken to him before. No, so this will be the first time that I'll get to speak to him.
I mean, he's been up at a few games at Dundee this season. I think he was up at one of the derbies as well, wasn't he? So I mean, he's obviously been keeping a close eye on you.
Yeah, well, I heard he was at the Derby and it's probably the worst I played all season, so that kind of sums it all up, really. So since then, I've just had to put the head down and try and play well.
That's it. But obviously Steven Pressley. I mean, the experienced manager. He's former Scottish international, former Scotland assistant coach. What did Steven say to you?
He was just very complimentary, as Stephen is. He's been like that with me all season, really. He's just saying that, he's proud of me and I kind of deserve this chance kind of thing. So he's been a massive influence with me throughout the whole season. So for him to give me the call was a bit of a special feeling as well.
Was it was it a bit of a shock?
Yeah, a bit of a shock to say the least. Yeah, I was just planning on getting the feet up for a month and then come back into Dundee, for pre-season. So yeah, when I got that phone call, I was a bit shocked, to be honest.
If you don't mind me asking, who was the first phone call to?
It was actually to my agent, funnily enough, to phone him. But I was on my way to my mum and dad's house, but I wanted to tell them in person just to make it a bit more special to them. But yeah, the first phone call was to my agent.
All right, okay. So, I mean, is it just? I mean, what have the SFA said anything? What is it? Just obviously training, because there's quite a few boys, isn't there? There's a couple of Hearts boys going as well. So I think for a bit of experience, it's probably
Yeah, there's me, James Wilson, Liam McFarlane, and Tyler Fletcher from Man United. I mean, we all know each other anyway. We're all in the 21 camp, so it'll be good just to have people around you that you know as well. And obviously Finlay Curtis is there, who's going to the World Cup, like thoroughly deserved as well. But we all kind of know each other from 21's level, so that's good as well.
I mean, Finlay Curtis is one that's. I mean, he's had some rise in recent months since he went on loan to Kilmarnock as well, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he's done brilliant, and like I know Finn quite well. He's a very good player, and obviously, as young players do, they want to go out and play as much as they can, and he's done that, and he's kind of reaped the rewards for it, and he's done very well.
I mean, you're obviously at Dundee, and it's an exciting time for Scottish football just now, isn't it? Looking ahead just for the national team going to this World Cup for the first time since 1998.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Yeah, it's absolutely unbelievable to be fair to be able to get there, you know. I'll certainly be watching all the games, and I'm sure, you know, half the country will be watching them all as well from the TV. So it'll be an amazing, you know, experience for everyone involved.
I think we'll all be up in the middle of the night, won't we? During the
Ah,
summer.
yeah. Looks like it, aye. Looks like it. Few late nights.
This is it. But just that sort of half call up, you call it, it just tops off what's been a remarkable season for you, Luke, does it not?
Yeah, no, like if someone was to say to me at the start of the season that I'll be able to get this opportunity to go in and train with the caliber of players that they've got, then I would have probably laughed at you, to be fair. But you know, it's just been taking it game by game, week by week, and just seeing where it takes you. And I've obviously done quite well, and it's just kind of tops off, you know, a really good season for me personally.
You've done quite well. You say that's quite modest. You know what I mean? 40 appearances for the first team, 3 goals. Some
Yeah,
very
yeah,
impressive performances, not to be sniffed at.
no, it's not bad at all. Getting a few goals in there as well doesn't hurt you. So yeah, no, to be fair, like I always knew I had it in me. It was just about, you know, taking the step up from the championship last year to the Premiership this year. That was just the main aim, and just try to play as many minutes as possible. And I've luckily played just about every minute. So no, it's been really good.
You were shortlisted for the PFA Young Player of the Year award, which was obviously an honour in itself. You won the Dundee Young Player of the Year award, didn't you?
Yeah,
And there
yeah.
was you picked up another one at the Dundee Awards, didn't you? Young player
It
and
was the
players player,
players
wasn't
player.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the one.
So it's not bad recognition, is it?
No, no, it's you know, very thankful for all that kind of stuff. You know, it's just like I say, it's just been me putting the head down and focusing on, you know, trying to keep Dundee in the league and then finishing as high as possible. And I've obviously, you know, managed to play my part in that, and then getting the kind of individual recognition as well, just to go along with it, it's just been amazing.
In terms of, you say obviously when you were at Falkirk, you had the two loan spells at Falkirk last season. You came back in the summer. What was the aim when you came back in the summer? Because obviously it was a new head coach, it was a new setup, it was pretty much a new team as well.
Yeah, no, for me it was kind of, you know, being out the previous season was just to come in as kind of try and be like a new signing kind of thing, you know, with the new manager and stuff coming in, was just how quickly can you try and impress him, you know, in training and in games. And luckily, you know, the manager's put his faith in me all season, and I've kind of just been repaying him bit by bit really. And no, it's just like an ideal season really. Not much went wrong for me. It was all just kind of the upwards trajectory kind of thing. So it's no, it's been amazing.
The manager, I believe he was quite hard on you when you first came in, was he, in the summer? Had you working
Yeah,
hard, did he?
no, yeah, he had me working very hard the first couple of weeks. So I it probably wasn't the best first impressions, but you know, luckily after that I kind of won him over. And so, but no, since then it's I've been in his good books, I think. So yeah, it's been good.
What's it like been working under Stephen? Because he's a very calm guy. You know what I mean? He seems to he's a person, an individual that people warm to and people want to play for.
Yeah, I think that was the main thing, just his calmness. I think, you know, we had quite a young dressing room this season, so his calmness kind of come over all of us. You know, it was just kind of letting us be free kind of thing and do what we feel. You know, as a lot of young players, we're going to make mistakes and stuff like that, but he was never harsh on you. He wanted you to make mistakes and learn from them instead of not make the mistakes in the first place. So I think that was the main thing with, you know, how well we ended up doing in the end, was just we had that freedom just to do what we felt really, and it kind of paid off overall as well.
It's an amazing turnaround as well, because from where Dundee started, you've lost a lot of key players. Probably it's fair to say that when Stephen was appointed manager, it wasn't exactly universally welcomed. But you know, when you go to Dens Park and in the recent weeks, the last week of the season, there's a unity there. They're right behind the manager, aren't they? Everyone's bought into him.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it was the manager liked to say throughout the season it's been a lot of process and transition and going on around the football club. But, you know, as players, it only like within the first few days we bought into what he wanted us to do. It a wee just took a wee while for it to kind of show on the pitch, you know, on the training pitch. We were doing it fine every day. You know, I think a lot of the players would run through a brick wall for the manager now, which is obviously ideal. So it was just kind of transferring what we were learning onto the training pitch onto a Saturday, and it kind of took a wee while for it to click. But I think we showed the last few months of the season that we're a right good side when we're at it as well.
How difficult was it in the first few months when people were probably writing the manager off, they were writing the team off, probably tipping us for relegation, and you weren't getting results? Was that difficult then as a young player? Because you probably haven't
Yeah.
experienced that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it wasn't easy coming in after getting beat on the weekend, numerous times in a row. But the dressing we've got in there, we've got a lot of big characters in there that were kind of dragging boys through it just to kind of get that first result and just build a few wins there. And I know they were key through it. It was like Dre Wright, Simon Murray, Sean McCracken, big characters who were always so influential and kind of kept a good feel around the club kind of thing, and dragged us young boys through it, because a lot of us haven't really been through that before. So it was kind of just getting us through that and getting us through the bad patch. And then, eventually we showed that, we're a really, really good side.
You obviously saw through the season that the team grew, you know what I mean? Individuals grew, yourself, Cam Congreve, Tony Egan, Ethan Hamilton, you've seen improvement overall. And was that just down to the team knitting and Stephen and his coaching staff getting the basics into you sort of thing and what they want?
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of that and a lot of confidence as well. At the start of the season, when things weren't going our way, it was kind of, just try and get a win, try and get a couple of points here and there. But then when we eventually got those wins, it was just, players going and expressing themselves and showing what they're really about. And I think that's what, brought the best out of the players. And I think, like I said earlier, just the manager and, his coaching staff, the way they went about it was just letting us have that freedom and kind of letting us go and flourish kind of thing on the pitch.
Look, can you give us a bit of an insight into how it works at Dundee? Because Stephen's talked, obviously he's the coach, he does a lot of the stuff. David Longwell does stuff, Scott Patterson does stuff, and Barry Nicholson. Who is it? Is it Scott and Stephen that works mainly with the defenders, or and individually? How does it work?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of individual work going on, and I think that's kind of been key to us progressing as a team. It has mainly been Pato, Scott taking the defenders, Baz take the midfielders, and then David would take the strikers, and then the gaffer would just kind of oversee everything. Even in the meetings as well, there's a lot of individual meetings, throughout the units, and I think that's kind of been key, just to just like what's the word I'm looking for? Just like proper, like get right into detail with the individuals, and the defenders and stuff like that. And I think that was obviously key for us as well.
How's Scott helped you? Because Scott was a cultured player in his time, but he was really unlucky with injury.
Yeah, yeah, no, Pato's really good. He's really insightful with all the defenders, obviously myself included. It was just kind of working on little bits and pieces at a time, try to introduce new things to players, but not shove it at you, just kind of, drip feed it time, like bit by bit. And I think that's maybe why the process took a little bit longer, was because of, just try to get the process in a little bit, bit by bit, instead of just, try to force it all on you at once. And I think it kind of paid off in the end as well.
Also, from a personal basis, Steven Pressley was a very good central defender in his time as well. What advice and help has he given you?
I think it's just the main thing with him is, like I said, just his calmness and him wanting to, go and express yourself. Because at the end of the day, we are defenders, but the game's changing so much that you need to be a lot more than just a defender nowadays. You need to be good on the ball. You need to show that composure. And I think that was the message that he was trying to get across to us as well, was just, like building it from the back as an example. We need our centre backs to be able to do that. And I think him showing the faith in all the defenders was it just kind of giving us the confidence to go and do that.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. In terms of the season, there's been a lot of highs. What were the highs for you, the highlights for you during this season?
I think the main highlight was that win at Tannadice. I think that was the main one that kind of typified our season, really, just a really, dogged performance, just doing anything to get the win. But for me personally, I think obviously getting a couple of goals, playing well against some big names in the league was also another thing as well. But I think the main one as a team was obviously that one at Tannadice.
Mm-hmm. Did you get 3 goals this season? You got 2. Was it Motherwell, Hibs, Montrose? Is that
Yeah,
right?
Motherwell, Hibs, Montrose, and I got one for the 21s as well against Azerbaijan. So I'm counting that. So it's 4 for
Yeah,
me this season.
Sorry, I missed that one out. It's not a bad return, no, is it? I mean, is that something? I mean, I know Stephen had been talking throughout the season that he'd been looking for more goals throughout the team, sort of thing, and try to take some of the stress and that away from Ash and Si and that. Was that something that they worked on as well?
Yeah, yeah. I think, it doesn't matter who gets a goal as long as you get a goal. That's all that matters. But I think, the gaffer was trying to implement a lot in set plays, and I think at the start we'd done really well in set plays, scored quite a few goals from them, and I think it was just kind of a continuation from that, and just be a threat anywhere on the pitch is the main thing. From a set play, can you go in and go and win your headers and stuff like that? So I think that's what kind of helped us, kind of spread the goals about the whole team throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we spoke to you a few times. I mean, you're a very grounded lad. I mean, there was quite a lot of speculation over your future in January, just before January. There was big money bids in January for you, and pretty much it hasn't stopped since then yet. I mean, but the fact is, it doesn't seem to have phased you at all. I mean, to the contrary, you've probably gone the opposite way. Your game's probably gone up a level or two since then. How have you coped with that? Is it you just shut it out? What's happened?
Well, it's obviously, like, I'm not going to get away from it. I've obviously read a lot about the kind of stuff that's going on, but it's obviously good to get that recognition. But your mid-season with your club, you don't want that to get in the way. You have a couple of bad performances after it, and then you're out the team completely. That's the brutal reality of it. So it was just kind of blocking that out and just putting my head down and just keep focusing on my own game, really. And that was it. That was the kind of thing that that was what my mum and dad were saying. Like, you just need to focus on playing for Dundee, really, and that's all I done.
I mean, because at that time, I mean, it could be quite easy for a young player to go and look, there's a significant offer on the table. You could have went and chapped the door, but you obviously realised that the situation that Dundee were in, you know what I mean? And it was all focus on that, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, that was it. And I've been at Dundee since I was 15, 16 years old. I owe my career to Dundee, really, throughout the whole time that I've been there. And I owe a lot to, Steven Pressley and a lot of the people at the club. So I'm not going to be that type of player to go in and chap doors down and kind of expect things. I just want to do my best for them and just, play well on a Saturday, really. That's it.
Because you've still got another year on this one. You know what I mean? As you'll be aware that the speculation's spreading like wildfire. You know what I mean? From Rangers to Europe to England to even further afield. But I mean, I take it as far as you're concerned, as things stand, you return back for pre-season with Dundee after the summer, and that's it. And unless you're told otherwise.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's it. I was just saying to the papers on the weekend after the Aberdeen game that I was just looking forward to getting my feet up. Obviously, that's changed a little bit now, but it's still same applies. After this kind of camp that I've got coming up, it's just take my mind off football, just kind of wind down and enjoy, like family time and stuff like that, and just enjoy my summer. And if something happens, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. That's just the way it works.
How, in terms of now, obviously you'll be training with the Scotland team. How long will you have off before you're back for pre-season?
I'll still get a good few weeks, I think. So
Will you?
yeah. Hopefully still get a good few weeks off, but still need to keep myself fit for going back in on that first day. So I probably won't have time for a holiday. I'll just need to keep working hard and then come back as fit as I can, really.
Is that just obviously from last year? You just want to come in and hit the ground running?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. You just need to, obviously, last year wasn't the ideal impressions for the manager, so this year just want to do the complete opposite, just come back in as good condition as possible, really, and just ready to go from day one.
Good. Look, can we take you through your journey up to here, sort of thing? Because I mean, obviously, last season the Scottish football took in the corporation loans, but I mean, you obviously weren't part of any of the corporation loans, but you've had a few loans throughout your career, and you worked your way right up. You know what I mean? Initially, when you first went, I mean, in fact, let's take you further back. Obviously, you said you came to Dundee when you're 15 or 16. Before that, you were at St Johnstone, weren't you? What happened there? What was the switch there?
I was at I've grown up a St Johnstone fan, so when I went to St Johnstone when I think I was about 9 or 10 years old, I was obviously over the moon with it. I was there till I was about 14, I think, and then by that point I just wasn't really enjoying my football. Like, that was it at the end of the day. And then I left St Johnstone. I just wanted to go and play with my mates and enjoy my football again. And then it wasn't too long after, it must have been a few months, towards 6 months maybe after, I got scouted for Dundee, and then that's been it ever since. I've just kept loving my football till then, obviously up until now.
I mean, obviously you went to Dundee, but you've had, in fairness, you've earned your stripes the hard way. You've gone out and played football. I mean, I think the first loan was Lucky United in the juniors. Is that right?
Yeah. I went to Lockheed when I was 17 years old. At that point, I was just playing 18s football, and my coach at the time, Scott Robertson, just felt the best thing for me was to go and play men's football. And yeah, I went to Lockheed for the first few months. I couldn't get a game really for Lockheed, and then it got towards halfway through the season, and I started playing, started really enjoying it. It was a really good changing room. It was a lot different to what I was used to, obviously going into men's football, but still loved it nonetheless. And it was just kind of going and play against men, taking those bumps and bruises along the way, and I think that was a kind of making of the person I am now.
I mean, you're talking about when you're 17, you probably, most people think, oh, I'm doing well at, a decent club sort of thing in the youth setup. But when you go into men's football, it is a lot different, isn't it?
It's so different. 18's football, it was just good sequences and patterns of play and stuff like that. Whereas I went to the junior football and it was just who's going to win the first header kind of thing. It's just a different world out there. But it was, like I said, it was still really enjoyable. We had a really good dressing room and a good group of lads who looked after me, so it was still really good.
Then the next up, you come back and you went to Albion Rovers.
Yeah, I went to Albion Rovers the season after. It was it was an interesting season. We got relegated from League Two in the end, which is a bit wild to say because three of the people in those dressing room are at Dundee now. So me, Joe Bevan, Charlie Riley are all
Charlie
at
Riley.
Dundee now. We got relegated from League Two that season, but again, that was just going out and playing men's football. Like, it doesn't really matter what level you go out. If you're playing men's football and playing every week, then it's just like you say, earning your stripes, especially as a young centre half. You need to be able to take those bumps and bruises off big strikers. And again, that was a really, really good experience. It taught me a lot. And then, yeah, it's just not the way I wanted it to end, though, really, but it was still good.
Would that have been under Sandy Clark? Is that right?
Yeah, we had Brian Reid through
Right.
most of the season and then Sandy Clark towards the end, yeah.
Right. Okay. So in terms of that, then you went to Montrose. That was at least a wee bit closer to home.
Yeah, a wee bit closer to home, and a lot more of a successful season that season around. But I think Montrose was a lot different to Albion Rovers in terms of the pitches and stuff like that, and a bit more football getting played, which was, to be fair, a bit more suited to my game playing football. And Montrose, I loved Montrose. Like, that was amazing. The dressing room we had at Montrose is one of the best I've been involved in so far. The lads were amazing, and we made it all the way to the playoffs, but disappointingly getting beat by Inverness in the first round. But again, another amazing loan. I don't really have any bad words to say about any loan move I've been on because it's just kind of made me the player that I'm today. So yeah, that was very good.
And then we move on to the final loans plural, but to the one club to Falkirk then. So last season, then you obviously went with John McGunn's side to the championship, and you obviously made quite a few headlines, did really well.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the main loan where I thought to myself, I've got a good chance of playing at Dundee next season, like coming back and playing for Dundee. Like, that was like nothing went wrong really that loan spell, apart from when John McGlynn put me at left back. Apart from that, it was all positive. Like, not got a bad word to say about the club at all. Like, it was. Don't really know how to put it into words, but winning the league at the end of the season it was unbelievable. And then the celebrations that followed after weren't bad either. So, but no, that loan season overall was just perfect, really. Like, the way that I fit the club and the style of play was just perfect.
And yet it was probably good that you were going into a club with real momentum, wasn't it? Because they'd won League One, come up to the Championship. It was all going really well, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
continues to.
think yeah, I think that was the main reason that I chose Falkirk, because there was a couple other clubs that I could have went to, but obviously playing against Falkirk the year before when I was at Montrose, I just thought, like, this is like they could go on and go up again after they get promoted from League One, and obviously that's what happened. So I think that was obviously a big decision for me at the time, and I couldn't have picked a better club really. It was absolutely amazing.
What was it like playing under John McGlynn and Paul Smith?
Yeah, like I said, amazing. Like, it was just so good. It was the first time I'd kind of been exposed to playing on the right hand side. So that was new to me as well, but they were so understanding about it, not playing there before. And then I eventually kind of grew into the role as the season went on. But yeah, playing under John, he's just so in detail with everything that he does. You know exactly what you're going to do when you step onto that pitch on a Saturday, and I think that was just perfect.
You obviously, Tony Dockett, he brought you back in the January. You played a few games, but then you went back out for the second half of the season, sort of thing. But just to be part of that squad to win, you obviously won. I take it you got a medal for that, didn't you? You played more than enough games for that.
Yeah. I got a medal, yeah.
So I take it that's something you always look back at. With great memories, great fondness.
Yeah, like that was until I got the call the other day from Steven Pressley about this. That's probably my proudest moment in my career so far is winning the championship title. Like that was what we set out to do as a team when I went in, and managing to kind of pull it off. As a lot of the boys who are still playing for them now were there when they're in League One. So it just shows, like the stability that club has. Like it was unbelievable, really. Like it was just so good.
In terms of and what did it do for you as a player? How much did it improve you? And you obviously felt ready that this last summer you would have been in a position to push for that Dundee first team slot.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, as amazing as the loan was, I knew I was going back to Dundee, and then that was, like I said, that was the first time where I thought I've got a real chance of playing next season, and thankfully that's what I've done. But yeah, like it was just about. I think the main thing with Falkirk was just the confidence that it gave you going into games. Thinking, yeah, we're going to batter these here. Like that was the main thing, just the confidence that it gave you. Obviously flying at the top of the league, and that it just helps you so much having that confidence going into games, thinking that you're almost invincible, really.
Yeah, but and then obviously you come back in the summer, and things haven't looked back at all. But do you sometimes pinch yourself at like just the way it's gone?
Yeah, no, I have to be fair, especially near the back end of the season when you're getting nominated for all these kind of accolades, kind of thing. But like I say, at the start of the season, I wasn't expecting all of this at all. Obviously, I'm confident in the player that I am, but at the start of the season, it was just about me taking it game by game and trying to impress the manager. So, yeah, a lot of it has been a bit surreal recently.
Obviously you spoke about your mum and dad. They've got a huge influence in you, your agent Lee Doyle as well. But in a football terms, who have been the biggest influences on you, Luke?
I'd probably still have to say my mum and dad. Like they've pushed me all the way ever since I was a young kid. I remember when I first came in on trial at Dundee, or when I first come in, I wasn't sure on it. Like I was obviously loving playing with my mates every Saturday, Sunday, so I kind of didn't want to go back to Dundee. And then I went back to playing with my mates, and then my mum and dad are saying, like, this is your chance. Like you're absolutely daft if you don't go and give this at least a shot. So I went back into Dundee and then not looked back since. So I think like I owe them everything, really. Driving me about the country ever since I was a little boy, really. So they're definitely my main influences in my career.
What teams, what boys clubs were you playing for when you left St Johnstone?
I played for Pitfair. It's a team in St Meadows. So I played for the 2004s and the year above after that. So yeah, I wasn't there for long, but it was still a good period.
So they've cost them your mum and dad have cost them a good defender then.
Yeah, let's say that.
Yeah. No, look, that's great, mate. No, look, thank you very much for your time. I hope things go really well when you're training with Scotland this week. You make an impression and you get that Scotland full call up sooner rather than later. But beyond that, I hope you have a good summer, and I'd like to wish you all the best for next season. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All the best. And thank you to everyone for watching. For all the latest news and football news over the week, over the summer, join us at thedalerecord.co.uk and across all our social media channels. Until next time, thank you very much and all the best.